welcome to the TV cast, I think we're calling this. It's, of course, a spin-off of our very popular podcast, The Spoiler Cast. You know, the show where we talk about movies and don't care about spoiling them. Well, this is the TV cast, so you can pretty much guess that we're going to talk about TV shows here. Or, I guess, nowadays, it's more streaming shows?
Shows in general, I suppose.
Shows in general, but I mean, I'm born in the 80s, you're born in the 90s, we call them TV shows,
yes,
okay? It's TV shows.
I think they're even like, they're called TV shows if you go on like Amazon Prime. It's called TV shows.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I mean, you know this if you listen to the Spoiler Cast, but my name is Tobias, and with me as always is my sister and trusted co-host Rebecca.
Hello.
Hello. And so like we said, this is sort of an experiment spin-off show where we talk about TV shows, streaming shows, and stuff like that. We already have one episode recorded that is up on our Patreon, patreon.com/domagazine, where we talked about the first episode of She-Hulk. It was sort of like a test, just to see how it worked. It was a spur-of-the-moment thing. If you want to listen to that, support us over there. You also get, of course, exclusive episodes of the spoiler cast and commentary tracks and stuff like that. But we probably won't post that here on the free places. So check it out over there.
And also we won't do any more episodes on She-Hulk.
Yeah. Spoilers about our discussion. We probably won't cover that show anymore.
Unless it's by popular demand, I suppose.
Of course. You can always, as a Patreon supporter, you get to tell us what movies we talk about, and I guess it also now supports, or includes, if you want us to talk about any specific TV show, which could be She-Hulk, so, check it out.
Either way.
Today we're doing, I guess, then the proper first episode of the show.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about the first two episodes of The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. And also want to say that this is going to be like a sporadic thing. We won't always upload every week. We will try to, of course. Sometimes maybe more than a couple of once a week if there's more shows we want to talk about. It's just a fun little thing we do on the side of the actual podcast.
Yes.
Just But let's get into the show then. The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. And can I just start by saying that's the worst title ever?
Yes, thank you.
Rings of Power works twice in its title?
Why did they have to include Lord of the Rings, really?
Yeah, because, well, I can tell you why.
Well, I'm banking
because
on
this
names.
this entire thing is just banking on the Lord of the Rings name. That's it.
They don't have to. The thing is, though, they don't have to put it in the title because everyone already knows that. They put it in the trailers that from the world of Lord of the Rings. We get it. You don't need to put it in the title. Come on.
It's something. Yeah, it's tough with titles like this. Like one of my all-time favorite franchises, movie franchises, is the Planet of the Apes, and every sequel. Almost every sequel of those movies have the clunkiest titles ever.
Yeah.
It's Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. You have some of the better titles like Beneath the Planet of the Apes. That works.
I mean,
or like War for the Planet of the Apes. It's so long and too many ofs and thus.
Even just the Planet of the Apes is almost a bit too much because there's two the.
Well, there's original title is just Planet of the Apes.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yes,
rings
in Lord of the Rings.
Titling this, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Like,
honestly, I thought it would be called only Rings of Power, not even The Rings of Power.
Yeah.
But I guess it is specific amount, so Rings of Power, the Rings of Power is more finite, I suppose.
Yes, because they're talking about the rings,
Yeah. Sure.
3 for the elves, 7 for the dwarves, 9 for the kings of men. That's the ones they're talking. I'm pretty sure, at least.
I mean, it has to be, I assume. Although I'm not quite sure, to be honest, because, well, let's just get into it. Yes. I'm very confused about where in any time this is taking place. I mean, I know it's set thousands of years before the events of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings.
Yes, it takes place during the Second Age.
But in the first movie,
in
the they have like a setup scene where you see the war and stuff.
Yes.
Is that the war where her brother died?
Or
is that an earlier war?
No, that is because the rings already exist then. That's how he became so powerful. He has the one ring.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so that's I'm pretty sure I've read the Lord of the Rings books. I'm a big fan of Tolkien's, but I haven't read everything, and I haven't read all the stuff that, it's the in-between stuff. I read Silmarillion a long time ago, so I can't remember everything there.
Yeah, I read parts of it at one point.
Yeah. And then there's the Book of Unfinished Tales and, Tales from a Dangerous Age and stuff like that. So much stuff. And a lot of the stuff that is in this show is just made up for the show.
Right.
Because he wrote a lot of lore that didn't have to do with the books. But there are big giant holes in the lore because it wasn't really what he was interested in, He was interested in telling stories.
So they just decided, let's take one of those holes and
basically
fill it in.
Because they didn't have the right to like write about specific things. They could only write about stuff in the Second Age, and it had to not include this and this. They had to make up a bunch of their own stuff.
Right.
So this is taking place, before that war in the beginning of the first movie. Which I think that is like the beginning of the Third Age or something like that.
Okay.
I think they have like specific events that mark the beginning and end of ages or eras. Sort of like in the Elder Scrolls franchise.
Yeah. I seem to
anyway.
remember at least something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, because starting off, this show is really confusing to me in general. There's so much happening in the first 2 episodes that I'm not even sure what the main storyline is, to be honest.
Yeah, they haven't really... Thing is, we've watched 2 hours so far. Roughly 2 hours. And
almost
so far...
exactly 2 hours.
No.
Well,
no more.
With the ending credits of each episode.
Obviously, the main storyline is that the darkness is rising.
Sure.
Sauron is out there somewhere, amassing his power again.
Yeah.
And we have Galadriel who is looking for him, and we have this guy who was fallen from the heavens, which I am 100% sure that's a wizard.
Yeah, it's either a wizard, or like. At one point, I was like, "Is that Sauron?" I'm not sure.
No. That's
but
not
no, it
Sauron.
can't be, right?
Yeah, no. I mean, I guess it could be, but
why would he be in a star?
Weird. Yeah, exactly.
No, he has to be a wizard of some sort.
Yeah. So that's the story. But then you have the whole Elrond joining up with Celebrimbor to build this tower now that they're talking about in the second episode. Which I know is then later going to be used to forge the rings. That's the whole point.
Oh, of course.
But it's, it immediately falls into the prequel problems. Like, it's setting up a bunch of stuff to make you go, ooh, that's the thing for the thing. Ooh.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, this is Galadriel. Oh, a young Elrond. Ooh, the tower. Celebrimbor. Whoa. Because he's, like, famous from the book. I don't care. Can we just tell a compelling story? Which I thought the first episode did pretty well. The whole introducing of Galadriel's mission or quest or whatever you want to call it. It was pretty good. I liked the first episode. I thought it was a good setup. Second episode fucking sucks because nothing happens.
Exactly.
It is treading so much water. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff happening. Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. It is, literally treading water for like half the episode. It's so boring. And she's like, what is this adding to the story? And, we're trying to keep these episodes a little shorter, but I think this in our very first episode, we might actually go over our allotted time here, because there's so much to talk about here.
That's the thing, though. It's a giant... to put nice words first, the production looks pretty cool, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. It looks visually it's stunning. It looks like a big expensive movie. It looks like a Lord of the Rings movie. Yeah, most of it. Yeah.
There's a few like hiccups here and there.
Yeah, but other than
most
that,
of it, it looks fucking fantastic.
Fucking amazing. Bear McCreary's music, even though it's trying to sound like Howard Shore a little bit, it's still great. Still great. Yeah.
And majority of the acting is pretty good. I can't really complain about most of them. Some of them are just
the guy who plays
annoying
Elrond,
characters.
Yes, most of it is annoying characters. And we'll get to why
can't
that
really
is
blame the actors
well.
for that.
No. It's the writing.
Some of the casting is because certain characters already exist in another iteration, you kind of compare them and it's like, he doesn't look like that one, or she doesn't look like Galadriel, really.
No, not really.
But again,
it's also kind of funny that
can't really.
Yeah, she's supposed to be like, but she's 1,000 years younger. But they don't age.
Yeah.
So
why does she look like she's 40 years younger?
Yeah.
Silly stuff.
So that's my initial thoughts before we get into the whole the soup, the thick of it. Yeah. My initial thoughts is, it looks really good, but I'm not interested because the first 2 episodes did not suck me in at all. Yeah. I am so not interested. Because guess what? I know what happens. Sauron is going to make the rings. He's going to take over Middle Earth. They're going to have one last stand on the slopes of Mount Doom. They will defeat Sauron. Isildur will take the ring for himself.
Yeah.
It will fall into the hands of Gollum for 500 years, and then Bilbo will discover it. And guess what? That's where the interesting shit starts.
Yeah, and that's why they made movies about that part.
Yeah, why do we care about this? Like,
that's the issue here, because we already know what's going to happen.
Yeah. It's like,
I'm having a hard time seeing how this is remotely gonna have a happy ending, or at least an interesting ending, because, well, it's just gonna end with a title card going, watch the movies, or what?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's dumb. Yeah.
And also, why it already feels like it's treading water after 2 episodes is because this is not a specific problem for this show. It is a problem with basically every show nowadays, and why I don't watch shows.
A lot of them, at least, yes.
Unless they're like episodic shows, like sitcoms were back in the day.
Yeah, or like Monster of the Week episodes.
Yeah, where every episode is its own story, but they're also an overarching story.
Yeah.
Every story nowadays, or every show nowadays, is written like a 10-hour movie. Yeah. So instead of having a beginning, middle, and an end in every episode, and then, of course, the overarching stuff, it's all just, nothing happens for the middle 6 episodes, and then we get all the good stuff in the first 2 episodes, and then the last 2 episodes. That's it. It's
like a book on a 1,000-page long book.
Yeah, but a book is different. We've talked about that as well.
Yeah, but we're seeing the episodes as chapters, and certain chapters are just nothing happens.
Yeah.
That's not how you make a TV show, though. In a book, exactly. That's works.
Exactly, and we talk about it. That's how you write a book. Books are different. Because it's a different media. It's written. It's not visual,
When you do a visual thing, it has to be exciting constantly for people to actually continue. Yeah. While in a book, you can be more like, I got some downtime for about 15-20 minutes when I read this chapter, now I can continue. It's not an hour or 5 going, when is something gonna happen that entices me here? Yeah.
So all we get are cliffhangers now. They just want you to watch the next episode. Yeah. And I mean, that's every TV show. Like we say, of course they want you to watch the next episode.
Of course.
It's always how TV shows work. But at least, like we said, before, you used to get
something.
A finished story in an episode. Like Star Trek. Every episode was its own story.
Or at least every episode had something to contribute towards the overarching story.
Yeah, a small resolution in the end.
Yeah. Not just, now we know about this place, and that place will come back in 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah. And here we have...
in this case, we didn't even have that, probably.
No. Here we had Galadriel on a little raft.
In episode 2, yeah.
I'm mainly going to focus on episode 2, because episode 1 was fine. It was setting up, stuff happened in that one, you know?
Sure, it mostly introduced us to, here are the characters, these are their traits, sort of, and next episode is the story.
Yeah.
Problem is, the story didn't start.
No, because she's just swimming, and then she's stuck...
floating.
She's stuck on a raft, there's a storm.
With this random dude.
Yeah. And then we have the hobbits, or the horvaths.
Horvaths?
That's just their their community. Hobbiton. Yeah, sort of. It's the same as, you know,
they're called halflings.
Big feet hobbits.
No, but in the Amazon thingy, they call them halflings.
Okay, maybe they aren't allowed to use the word
have,
hobbit.
Or at least somewhere I read that.
Yeah. Well, there are three kinds of hobbits.
A wandering folk of halflings that one day will devolve into becoming the hobbits.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
So they're like an ancestral hobbit, I suppose.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
But yeah, they're like the big feet or whatever.
Yeah. Or like baggers.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. Anyway, and then we have Elrond meeting up with Durin in Khazad-dûm.
Yes.
And that feels like the most pointless part of the story so far, even though I like that the most so far, because it's just about building this tower.
But
we don't know for what purpose yet. We understand that Galadriel looking for Sauron and the Harefoots finding this man who fell from the sky is connected, obviously.
Sure, yeah.
The tower will be connected later, but at the moment it's like, why is this in the show?
Why didn't they introduce that later on?
Yeah.
Because at the moment we have 4 plot lines to follow. Because we also have the elf, the elven and the woman who
the human storyline.
Yeah.
They have one for each race now. They have halflings, elves, dwarves, and humans.
Yeah. And I can tell you, well, we know that they're gonna introduce a 5th kind of people, which are the Numenors.
They are?
Mm-hmm, because they have their own little tab on Amazon's
okay.
explore page, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah, but and all that stuff, yeah, sure, whatever, it doesn't matter. The problem is that it's not exciting. The second episode was not exciting. Nothing happened. Oh. It was literally just treading water. It should have been a 5-minute episode where they just set up like, okay, we know that orcs are digging under the villages of man. Galadriel found her way back to shore. Whatever, Nori and her stupid friend, annoying friend, are gonna help the guy from the sky, the wizard. And Elrond is meeting up with the elves to get their help the dwarves, to build the tower.
Yeah.
That's it. Why is that an hour long?
I don't know.
This is why I don't watch TV shows. It takes so fucking long to tell a story that you could easily tell in like 2.5 hours. You know, make a long epic movie about it, sure, but you don't need 10 hours or 8 hours, however long this is going to be. And that's just the first season. They've already said that they're aiming for 5 seasons. Like,
5?
Yeah, 5 seasons.
What the hell? I thought this would be like a mini show with
no.
The current season is 8 episodes.
They have spent way too much money to just make 8 episodes. They've spent like $1 billion so far. They're not just gonna.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, that's true. But Jesus Christ, 5.
Yeah, all just to get to the creation of the Rings of Power, and then the movies. That's it.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Oh, but
that's
we're gonna have all the wonderful characters and their fates and destinies throughout that show. It's the journey, not the destination that is, you know. It's the friends who made along the way.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
my god.
but
what if they put all that effort and money into making an original, or at least picking a new book to adapt instead of using one that's already existing?
You said it. Why not just make up something of your own? Because that's also something I want to say. This does not feel like Tolkien writing.
No.
It doesn't feel like Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit.
No.
It feels like something else.
I mean, the only character the characters I can say that feels sort of like the way I've seen them portrayed in the previous adaptations are the dwarves. They feel kind of similar.
Yeah.
In the way they act.
Because
but the elves don't. They're not as stoic.
No, and that's a big problem.
They're too animated and lively for what we've seen before, and what I remember from reading like a book and a half.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I get that they want to do, a younger, a more, active, or whatever we call it, version of Galadriel. But that's not how those characters work. This isn't like young Galadriel. Like, no, she's still the same as she was in the Third Age.
Yeah, because she's already lived thousands of years.
They don't age that way. It's not how it works. It's a completely different character than what it is in the books. And just saying that she's younger, she hasn't experienced what she had in the books, that doesn't work when it comes to characters that are immortal.
Exactly.
When she's already lived like 4,000 years or whatever, you can't just say, "Oh, well, she learned so much in the last thousand." No, that's like
this event changed her, perhaps, but still, you need to introduce that in a way. Though, you need to introduce what changed her, because as far as we know, this is just another very strange version of Galadriel.
Yeah.
Also, she pronounces her own name weird.
Galadriel. Yeah, they add some sort of accent
or something,
to Elvish. Like, why?
To make them sound more exotic.
Yeah.
I gotta say, there's one detail that at first felt off, but at the same time it's like, of course this is normal. I don't remember any actors being anything but white in the original movies.
Yes.
Which I can understand.
Let's get into
a little bit.
That stuff then, because that's the big thing everyone's talking about, the woke casting, and we can't have black people in Lord of the Rings.
I mean, technically, sure you can, but I don't know if they were ever described with skin color in the books.
No, that's the first thing. Like, if you want to be faithful to the book, it is based on like English culture.
Yes.
So, and at that time, English medieval culture. At that time, people were white.
Yes, in that area of the world, yes.
Yes. Second of all, there are described other races of people, or men, or whatever you call it, like the Easterlings, who you see briefly in Return of the King. They're supposed to be like Asian, so they of course have a different skin color. But yeah, other than that, like we talked about in our Spoilercast episode about Nope, writing what you know, Tolkien wrote about what he knew, which was,
people.
White people, yeah. So he didn't try to write in a bunch of, black people into the story. Also, it was written in the 40s. People didn't think about stuff like that back then. It was a different time. Yeah.
Did he, though, describe skin colors?
No.
A lot? No. So it's fine.
It's
that they've
fine.
Casted. But it feels a little bit off in certain areas.
Yes, the problem is that they didn't cast them just because, and they've said this themselves, they have cast them for diversity reasons.
That's
it is
not
just
why you should
to make it
people,
more
though.
Inclusive, to make it more diverse, to reflect Tolkien's fans, like every color and creed of his fans. Like, sure, okay, but if that's the only reason, you're going to make people angry.
Can I be rude then and just say, well, I mean, there's only one black lead. Everyone else is white. Who's a lead?
The dwarf queen, or whatever
she might be a lead. I'm not sure yet.
She's in all the promotional stuff. She's going to be.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that might just be to show off the colors. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll talk more about the dwarf women, but we'll get there.
It just feels a bit odd. It feels very there's a word for it and I can't think of it. That they just did it for the appreciation of everyone else.
Virtue signaling.
Virtue signaling.
Yes. That's what it is. If they really wanted to mirror what Tolkien wrote, they would have been white. It doesn't matter, but the fact that they have to point it out, if they just did it, When you talk about, just be subtle about it, and people wouldn't care. But now it's like, oh, we're so proud of having it diverse and inclusive. Nobody cares. If anyone cares, it's the people that don't like it, and they're going to be vocal, and you're gonna create a rift in the fandom, like you always do, because you always have the fans that hate the woke stuff, and you have the ones that then love the woke stuff. So how about you just in the middle, you cast a bunch of black people and brown people and white people, and don't mention it, because you know what? Like we talked about, in the end, they're just people, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But no, you have to make a point out of it.
That's the issue, yeah.
That's the problem.
The one casting that bothers me the most is Elrond. Because he doesn't look even remotely like the movie version. He doesn't even have the right hair color.
No, yeah.
Couldn't they just have given him long, dark hair? Come on.
Yes, let's then start nitpicking about the important stuff and not the race of the actors.
No.
Yes. All you people who watch like nerdrotic and geeks and gamers, like that's not important. Yes, it's a little annoying, but it's not important. What's important is, why are the elves short-haired?
Yeah. They've always been long-haired.
Yeah. Honestly, why are there a bunch of short-haired people? Everyone has long hair. That's like just a thing. No one has short hair except for the hobbits, because they have curly hair.
Unless, trends changed in the last 1,000 years.
The whole point is that you didn't have barbers. You didn't have people who coiffed their hair back then. You just cut it so it wasn't too long.
Even that.
That's what fantasy always has been about. I don't know if that makes me like a geek or whatever, but like short hair looks stupid in fantasy stuff.
Yeah, it does.
It just does. Maybe you have like one character, but here there's a bunch of characters with short hair. You have the elf guy who is in love with the girl, the
one who wears the same armor as the Green Giant.
Yeah, exactly. Like he has this super sculpted like hairdo. Like who did that? Where did he get the clippers to do that?
Yeah,
it looks dumb.
It looks silly.
You can sculpt long hair because you can braid it, or you can set up in a ponytail or whatever. Unless you have like tools, you can't sculpt short hair, and they didn't have tools for that in the
Tolkien
fake
universe.
fantasy, Tolkien universe that is supposed to be sort of medieval looking.
Yeah,
they don't have hair gel. They don't have clippers. They have scissors, maybe. Yeah, they have scissors, of course, but
knives, I suppose.
Knives, yeah. So it just looks stupid. I hate it.
The Elven King is the only elf that looks.
He looks like an elf, yeah.
And he looks more like Elrond should than Elrond does.
I guess Morfydd Clark as Galadriel looks like an elf. She has long blonde hair and she has very fair skin and everything, but
that's because that character is very distinguished that way. She is very bright in everything.
Yeah. And then we get colors. But that's okay, so that's just a style choice. They chose to give some characters short hair. Whatever. It's annoying, but whatever. But then we get to something that is just incorrect when it comes to Tolkien lore. The fact that the dwarf women doesn't have beards.
Oh, that's right.
They have almost as much beards as male dwarves.
That's right.
And that's not just a joke from the movies. It's actually in the lore about dwarves.
Yeah.
That they have thick beards. That's why they're so hard to spot, because they basically look like the guys.
Yeah, that's why dwarves rarely have children, because they can't find women. It's something like that. That's the joke. Somewhere.
Yeah. No, that's that you rarely see dwarf women, and even when you do, you don't know that they're women because they have big beards. They basically look like guys. That's a joke. Yeah.
But no.
And that's how Tolkien describes it in the writings. But no, here they look like...
Have we seen more than one woman, though?
There are some in the crowds, when they're breaking the stones and stuff like that.
Right.
And that is just like... Because that was also part of the PR for this. They were so like, we love the Lord of the Rings stuff. We love Tolkien's writings, and we want to be so faithful and really capture the spirit of Tolkien. So why don't the dwarf women have beards then? It's like, that shouldn't even be a problem in this inclusive age. Because we have women with beards nowadays. So now you don't? I don't understand.
Yeah. That's a bit odd.
Why draw a line in the sand there?
At beards, of all things.
It's so annoying. I know it's a nitpick, but that's so annoying. Because it talks so much shit about being faithful and doing it the right way and everything. And then you don't do something like that? That is such a fundamental thing?
Which is also something that's quite easy to actually do, no matter who you cast as the character.
Just put on a fake beard. It's not that hard.
You did it on the men. No way that's the real beard.
No, it's not. So, it's just... It's so annoying. And it's so annoying that instead of just trying to tell a good story, they've turned this into some sort of cultural, phenomenon, and really pushing that angle. Like, that's not the point. That was the point of what Tolkien wrote, was to tell good stories. That he was, and creating these interesting worlds. That's what he liked. The fact that he then told like stories of war and companionship and all that. That was secondary. That was like the subtle stuff that there's obvious references to like World War II and stuff like that.
Yeah.
World War One. Well, both wars, I guess.
War in general, I suppose.
Unlike our latest Spoilercast episode where we talked about You Won't Be Alone, where, the themes and the story is the most important part, and the plot is secondary. That's why we spoiled the whole entire plot of that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it comes to Tolkien's writing, especially the Lord of the Rings books, the plot is the main, draw. It's an interesting tale of these characters. And then the themes and the story of war and stuff like that, that's secondary. But it's there. Yeah. But now they're trying to, push themes and stuff like that to the forefront, and it's just annoying.
While at the same time, drowning it out with so many details on characters and surroundings that I didn't keep track of what the heck was happening.
Yeah, and once again, spending 20 minutes with
treading water.
Galadriel literally treading water. That should have just...
What was also the ugliest part of all of that episode, because that water it went on too much forever. There was... I know they're supposed to be out in the middle of nowhere, but at the same time, it's this just looks like a pool that they added green screens around.
Yes, it does. Actually, yeah. Which it is.
Because there's nothing. There's not even clouds in the sky.
Well, there is.
Well, you know what I mean. There's nothing adding to it. It's just water.
It felt very artificial, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
At least have the silhouette of an island in the background or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Though I don't know, because they sail that far out to enter the other part of the world that only elves can go to, I suppose, or when they die or whatever.
They go west back to their own country, Valinor, yeah.
Sure. But there were humans around there too, so there's gotta be more than just water.
Yeah, and we never find out who those people were.
No, where they came from. Well,
I guess they talked about they were driven from their land.
Not elves.
Well, no, he means orcs, obviously.
Yeah.
Because we see the other humans being attacked by orcs, so... Question
is he coming from that part of the world? Or are the orcs spreading somewhere else as well?
He talks about them, that he talks about the Southlands, so...
He did.
It's part of Middle Earth, at least,
Yeah. Well, yeah, I assume.
Yeah.
Everything's going to take place in Middle Earth, at least. I assume.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
It's just, we had 2 hours of screen time, and we had 4 different plot lines that have still not connected, really, properly. I mean, we know, of course, because we know what happens in the end. Yeah. But not that we know of as told in these 2 episodes.
No. And it was going to be 10 episodes?
8, I think.
8 episodes. So it's 6 episodes left. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 6 more hours. They need to... I know it's just been 2 episodes, but they kind of need to hurry up then.
Since they have 5 plot lines.
Yeah.
Had there only been like 1 or 2, then maybe.
Yeah. That's also another problem with TV shows, which is also mainly just because they want to drag it out. There's too many plot lines. Like, what is the point of having so many plot lines?
Yes.
Like, just tell one story.
However, I just want to draw a comparison then to another new fantasy show.
Huh?
House of the Dragon.
Oh, which has 1 plot line, basically.
Exactly. But, well, 1 or perhaps 2, I guess.
Yeah, there's different characters with different...
But they are at least intertwined more tightly, and they, as one progresses, the others do, not just separately.
Yes. I've only seen the first episode so far, but I enjoyed that much more than this stuff.
Yes. This is me trying to convince you that we should do an episode on those 2.
Yeah, we probably will at some point, yeah. I just gotta watch the second episode.
I'm probably gonna keep watching Rings of Power just because I want to see at least the first season. Peer pressure, I think.
Yeah. Well,
I want to see if they manage. At least, how about this? I'm gonna give it 1 more episode. If it doesn't start making sense, I'll probably give up. Yeah. But House of Dragon, I'm really excited to keep watching.
Yeah. Right. Well, let's. I don't know what this episode was, but I think can we wrap it up by saying it's not very interesting. This show.
Yeah.
Rings of Power?
No, not yet. It's too messy, to be honest.
And
widespread.
While all of the Lord of the Rings or Tolkien Middle Earth stuff that we have is far from perfect. I mean, I don't even think the movies or even books are perfect. This feels like the first time that something substantial, like big like this, has failed. Well, I guess the Hobbit movies, actually.
Well,
things we forgot about those. like we stopped making Lord of the Rings stuff after that because nobody wanted those movies and they failed, sort of.
Yeah.
And then we were done with it. We left that alone until now. And I was just, God damn it!
And also they've been promoting this. They've been promoting this for what, a year, at least?
More.
Yeah. But I mean, like with the posters came out months ago.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So they've been pushing it and trying and they even went like, oh, because we're gonna be a bit late with the first episode, we're gonna give you 2.
Whoa!
And you gave us this?
Yeah.
Come on.
This is how you're selling your show? By making me fall asleep in the second hour?
Yeah, I had the second episode. I had to rewatch. First of all, because I just stopped watching the first time because I gave up. Second time, I had to keep rewinding because I felt like I missed details. But no, there wasn't anything there.
No, me neither. I fell asleep as well because I was watching it very early in the morning on the day it came out. So I watched the first episode and then I fell asleep during the second one. I think I would have stayed awake if it was interesting, but I'm contributing it to lack of sleep. So.
Yeah, sure.
But watching it now, it's like, oh, I didn't really miss much. Because nothing fucking happened! Yeah, I'm not interested, but yes, I guess we will make...
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see here.
We'll see.
We'll see if we watch the 3rd episode and what we feel about it. If there's enough to add, if it changes our mind, then sure, maybe we'll do another episode. If not, then fuck it.
Yeah,
we'll leave it at this. So far, it's meh.
Well, maybe we'll make like a season finale episode, like talk about the whole season.
Sure. We'll see about that.
But then we're gonna have to watch the whole season, so I don't know.
So we'll see.
However, next up, we should probably do an episode on House of the Dragon because I actually want to watch that. So that's gonna be next. Whenever that comes out, I don't know.
Whenever we have time.
And also, if you want to watch more TV cast, check out the She-Hulk episode on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. And also, all the exclusive stuff we have on there. And, rejoice in the fact that you're supporting us and our independent podcasting adventures. But that's gonna have to be it for this. Yeah. Bottom line, boring show. I think it's gonna flop, which is it's terrible because that's such a big,
much time and money.
Yeah, and it's just gonna flop because they don't know how to fucking write compelling stories. Like, what's the problem here?
Well,
sucks.
It's only been out for what, a few days. We'll see.
I guess we'll see
what time brings.
Yeah. But yeah. I was gonna say also. Yeah. So these episodes are gonna be sporadic, but remember, every week. Saturday or Sunday, depending on our schedules nowadays, we are releasing, of course, the spoiler cast. It's going to be every week, and us, of course, then a Patreon exclusive episode every week, Monday or Tuesday. So keep a lookout for that in between your TV cast episodes. But that's going to have to be it. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you in the next one. But until then, have a good one.
Bye.